What's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into Modern Warfare Zombies, and today I'm bringing you guys a quick mission guide for the Act 1 story mission known as Extraction. Now, this one will be pretty straightforward because once you actually infill, it does have its own exfil location. Once you guys actually call the exfil in, we'll send you over to your own instance on a specific part of the map, and you guys will be in there all by yourself or with whatever squad you guys actually infill into it with. Now, it is important to note, because this will take place in its own instance, you have the entirety of the match in which you guys infill into in order to prepare yourself for your story mission before you guys actually go into it. So this is the place where you guys are going to want to do your pack-a-punch. You're going to want to do any upgrades, any perks, anything you could possibly want to do before heading over to the extract, which is going to be marked on your tac map via a star next to its exfil point. And you guys will be able to head over to that star by pinging the location of the exfil, and it usually takes place somewhere in the tier 2 zone. And I definitely recommend before you actually head over to this location and make your way into the story mission, you definitely prepare yourself with at least pack 2 weapons. It is obviously going to vary depending on which weapon you're actually using, because some weapons are a lot stronger than others, so you might be able to get away with pack 1 on certain weapons or pack 2 on certain weapons, whereas others you might be looking more towards the pack 3. But once you guys have a pretty decent weapon, in my case I used the MCW, I did have pack 3, I did have cryo freeze or an ammo mod on it, so I was pretty well established or pretty well set up. Then I had the perks that I needed, and I obviously had a teammate with me, so I didn't really need to use a self revive or have a self revive in order to be able to be revived. But if you guys are going solo, definitely make sure you have a couple of self revives, because they do auto equip once you use it. That way you guys aren't putting yourself in a bad position. Just a bit of a heads up, before you guys go into the story mission, not only will you be taking on zombies, you will be fighting mercs as well. So that should give you a little bit of an idea of what you're getting yourself into. Now, part 1's just asking us to deploy to Dr. Jansen's coordinates. Now, I think part 1 basically gets knocked out the second you head over to the exfil, call the exfil in, jump into it, and go into the other instance. Once you guys actually spawn into that other instance, this first part should be knocked out. And then part 2 is just asking us to bring Dr. Jansen in for questioning. Now, this is pretty much the entirety of the rest of the mission once you guys actually enter into the other instance. Essentially, once you guys actually spawn in, you guys will be on the back of a helicopter. You guys are going to go ahead and dive out of the helicopter and be headed towards a building which will be marked as a star on your map, or with a little icon above it with a star. Once you guys make your way over to this building, you guys will be running into zombies and of course the mercenaries that we talked about. So you guys might want to take your time depending on how much you struggle with the mercenaries in the regular map, and also remember that this is going to be a tier 2 zone through the entire mission. That is why you guys wanted to be so prepared heading into it. So once you make your way into the map, like I said, you'll be heading toward a building that is marked with a star, and you guys will be taking those zombies and mercenaries out on your way. Once you actually make your way over to the location of the building, you're probably going to be looking around the outsides of it for a ladder or way to climb up. You're just going to need to head inside, make your way all the way up the stairs till you make your way up onto the roof. Now, once you make your way onto the roof, there will be an upload station, which is very similar to the UAV towers we saw in DMZ or even in Warzone. You guys will go up to it, interact with it, and that will kind of knock out the first objective in this mission. Once a little audio log plays, it will then reveal Dr. Jansen's location, and you guys will have to go ahead and make your way all the way over to another part of the map. I definitely recommend sticking to the left side, as it will probably allow you to avoid a majority of the enemies, whether it's zombies or mercenaries. And you're basically making your way to the map which is known as Subbase, which is one of the multiplayer maps. Once you actually make your way over to the location that has a circle around it on your map, you guys will notice that it isn't quite the exact location of where Dr. Jansen is. At this point, you guys should be standing in front of what looks like a tunnel, where you guys will basically head down the ramp inside of it. And inside there, you guys will actually see a room with a couple glass windows on the side of it, where you will then see Dr. Jansen. At this point, you guys will obviously interact with it for a second there. There will be a little bit of time that passes by, because now that we found Dr. Jansen, we now need to defend her. So once we get over to this part, a progress bar will pop up. It's basically a time period in which it takes her to delete a set amount of files. During that time period, the only thing you really need to do is defend her location. Overall, defending her isn't all that challenging, and it doesn't take a ton of time, but if you are playing solo, you will need to watch both lanes, as there will be enemies sneaking up behind you, and obviously enemies coming from the way that you also entered. If you do have another teammate with you, obviously you guys each just choose a lane, then defend it for the duration of time in which she deletes the files. But once that progress bar fills up to 100%, she then opens the door towards the backside entrance, where you then will have to escort her to the helipad. Basically, all you have to do at this point is follow her. She will lead you to the helipad. You're just really eliminating any enemies that come in the path. You guys will finally make your way up to the second story, or the roof of the building in which you found her in, and then eventually up to the helipad, where you then will defend it for a time period where the helicopter will finally land. You guys can jump into the back, knocking out part 2 and completing this mission. That's going to wrap things up for today's quick mission guide. Thank you guys for all supporting today's video, all the support in the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace.